maybe. Okay. Good afternoon, Crystal. How are you?
I am wonderful. It was a great
Uh,
weekend. Happy
it,
Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day on
thank
a
you, ma'am.
Monday.
Happy Valentine's Day to you. Do you have special plans for today?
Not nary one. I'm going
Not
to
anyone.
go in as soon as we finish. I'm going to eat lunch and I'm going to go hang out in my garden and show much
Oh,
love to my plants.
there you go. There you go.
So,
Oh,
yeah, I do have
okay.
plans hanging in the garden.
There you go. There you
How
go.
about yourself?
I don't have a plan. I think I'm just gonna have a nice dinner. I went to a workout today and I'm testing this whole philosophy I have with dropping pounds. So I can't
Okay.
go too crazy, but I
Okay.
might have to go a little bit crazy. Because that's just the way I roll. It's just a little bit.
You've been
You
crazy.
have, you have, you have to be a little bit crazy. Just to can't be all right all the time.
Okay. Yeah, of course not. Life would be way too boring.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. You're not
It's
here
just
to be
another
bored.
day for me. Unfortunately or unfortunately, I don't know what it is, but it's just a day. But how
Oh,
was the
oh,
Super Bowl for you? I know you are all into the Super Bowl and the football and
I just love a party. I love watching people have a good time. I love watching it. I love being in the middle of it. I just think there's so much pressure here in the world on so many things that it's so great just to watch people cut loose, have a good time, and, just get all kind of crazy and stuff. And so I was able to do that. I went to a little dive bar here
okay.
down the street from my place, and they did a wonderful job. The lady that's there, she that owns the place, she did some great cooking, and then they brought some food in. Everybody was nice and happy, and we were just peeing and doing all those kinds of things that you do when you're watching a big event. And the Rams won. I thought, no way. I'm emailing, texting all of my friends. Where's the nasty? They need some nasty. What's going on here? And um, it was a good day. It's a good day. Had a couple cigars. I had a good day
It was
yesterday.
good. I came
Yeah.
in on it. Actually went to get my nails done during the beginning of the game, majority of the game, actually. And and then I came in at the fourth quarter, or 13 minutes
True
and
fan.
42 seconds. And so
True fan. Oh, so you got to see the touchdown.
I got to see the whole, yeah, I didn't see the halftime or any of that, but
Oh,
yeah, I saw that. And my brother-in-law and my sister were watching it when I came home. And so we were that little part, that last 13 minutes, that was
oh,
rough, right? And they kept
yes.
going down the middle, and I'm like, what the
Yeah.
heck? That dude over there on the corner, throw that ball at him. And just as I was saying that, that's exactly what happened. Cup was on the corner, grabbed the ball, said, that was the play. That was like I'd been there all day, right? And that
Oh
was the
my
game.
goodness. There you go. There you go. Wow, you had a great time then.
I
That's
had a great time.
amazing.
See, I guess if I had been there, I would have been coaching. They might have that all that would have never happened.
Yeah,
But I'm like, why are they all here in the middle? But go to the end where that one little dude is, smack through that other one on that side and catch that darn ball.
Oh, we're all good Monday morning. We're all really good quarterbacks on Monday morning. That's quarterbacks and coaches. Yeah, yeah, we all, and some of us have that. Well, if I'd have been there, I like to do what I used to do. Yeah, okay,
Yeah, it was
okay.
great. And my sister, she kept saying, yeah, the Lakers are doing well. It's like, no, the Lakers aren't playing. That I do know. The Lakers are not playing. This is not their court.
That's
And
so
my
sad,
brother-in-law,
when people don't know what they're talking about and they try to be interesting. You just have to say, God bless you. You just come on in and have a party, have a cocktail, and
oh, it
relax.
was hilarious. And my brother-in-law was just like, this is not the Lakers. Like, he was like being patient. This is not the Lakers. But we all had a good time. It's just them too. And my brother-in-law, he always does as if we were going to have a house full of people. He makes the sliders and he makes
Ooh,
the fried the wings, and I think they had the shrimp, and there was something else when I came in. So that was his. But we never. It's only three people. My nephew, he was off with his friends, so it's like three people. So this time, instead of making a whole bunch, he just made enough for the three people that were in the house. So we had our
oh, well,
Super
that's
Bowl
good.
party food.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Now that we've had COVID, I think a lot of us are doing things a little bit more like that, where we're just saying, look, it's a small thing, it's a cool thing, it's a good thing, we're having a good time, just usins is okay. But
Yeah,
it was so nice to see so many people out, and people were out where I was. It was just nice to see some good energy
yeah. That was good. That was
coming
good
back because we've been.
for good for LA. My cousin from back east texted me like, "Congratulations, LA," and he's in Virginia, so he was excited, and it was cool. I mean, when was the last time uh the Rams here in our own
Oh boy,
stadium in our own
oh boy,
city? I mean,
yeah,
right? So we
yeah.
talked about that last week.
It's
Um,
been a while. It's been a
yeah.
while.
So, and they were happy. They were I mean, and it was so funny. Uh the Bengals, they knew they had it, right? They had that smug look on their face, and then all of a sudden, when it got to that minute, all of a sudden that the jovialness went down. Like, what the hell happened?
Well, I don't
What
know if the
happened?
Bengals were. I don't know how smug they were because they had to work hard to get there. It didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't come easy for them. They earned their spot. I was really impressed with them, their season, and LA too. I mean,
Yeah.
they they had to get through a lot of stuff. I mean, the Bengals had to get through Mahomes in Kansas City, and that wasn't easy. It
Right.
wasn't easy. So I think they were both two deserved teams, and they played very well, played their hearts out, and I was just jazzed to be able to watch those two Titans go at it. So
Yeah,
I
but
was
it would have been really sad that you a Super Bowl in your brand new home stadium, all
yeah, that would have been
spanking
bad.
sparkly new, with your
Yeah,
homeboys, with the
yeah,
Dr. Dre, and the whole
yeah.
bit, and we lost. That would have been really
That would have been
embarrassing.
rough. That would be rough. But we would have talked about it. We would have talked mercilessly about it. Well, let's
So,
get started with our little gig here because I can talk about that
okay, sounds good.
forever. You get me on a topic. Okay. First of all, our topic today is on Conversations on the Patio with Crystal and Jevon. Our topic is what's the opportunity for small businesses with regard to retirement plans? So, how about if I read your bio, Crystal, and then we will kick off the show? How's that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so hello, everyone. Welcome to our show, and please allow me and help me welcome my friend and mentor. I guess you're a mentor now, coach, pro football coach, sport
Yeah, remember the
enthusiast,
last call? I got it. I'm
last
talented
call
like that.
aficionado. Crystal Mitchell. She is a business coach and consultant, CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions. She's also a co director of Recycling Black Dollars, a co host of the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We need to talk about that actually. An instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College, a certified network for entrepreneurship instructor, and last but not least, a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Welcome, Crystal. Thank you for being here.
Oh,
And
I'm
let's
always
get
looking forward to
going.
Monday. Yes, let's do that.
Okay. All right. So, the topic. I was thinking about this a little bit ago. Now that the market is going crazy, now that wages are creeping up, now that we are looking at inflation, what is the opportunity for a small business person? And if I say that in normal terms, what I really mean is why should a small business person consider a retirement plan?
Mm.
So, got any ideas?
I want to say that the article is about the optimism that small
Yeah.
businesses are feeling right now, and I think they are. I coach. That's my target market, and I coach them on a regular basis. They seem to be excited. They feel, even with all that's going on with the virus, that the future holds a lot for them,
Hmm.
and they're excited about that. And some of them were able to get the relief that came out, the CARES Act, and that helped
Hmm.
them out a lot. And one of the really amazing things that took place during this is that there was money for the organizations like mines and multiple that I actually do coaching for and teaching for. They have created all these amazing programs for these businesses. So with
Ah,
that, now the businesses have ongoing coaching. They don't have to pay for it. It's monies are fluid right now, and so we all have programs that they're in, guiding them with business coaches that they can bounce things off and really help them. And then at the end of that, some of them are actually providing some grants and things like that for them.
that's
And
great.
so
That's great.
they didn't have that before. They were just out
Right.
there. But I think most importantly, and I think this is for all of us that are out here, they are now the business owners, whom I'm speaking of, they are now ready to hear what we have to say as coaches and
Hmm.
professionals, to say, okay, this is the steps A, B, C, D, right? They are
Hmm.
now
Hmm.
listening and actually putting what we say to them into action. So I always say, I have to prepare the businesses so that when a retirement plan person comes and talks to them, they feel that, oh, wait, I do have a little pile of money over here because I've been working toward that, thinking about
Yeah.
that, as opposed to saying, hey, I can't afford that, dude. And I'm never retiring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what was missing before. And so we're
Uh-huh.
at the very beginning. And so we're at the at the beginning part of it. So hopefully, this conversation we're having now is something that they can actually see now on their horizon.
That's great. I'm so glad you said that. So many great points there. I think one of the big points is I'm never going to retire. Well, you are. And I don't have any money. Well, you do. You're just paying it to the wrong person. And I think those are great points. And the other thing that I love about what you just said is we're at the beginning. And that always makes me think of the incredible entrepreneurship of the American business person. This is a country where people make it happen. I mean, they get an idea, and I think that happened especially during the COVID. They get an idea, they think, I think we can make a business out of this, and they do it. Or, we've got some tough times, and but I'm gonna make it, and they do it. I mean, I'm continuously surprised by the entrepreneurship and the stick to itiveness of the American business person. It's just amazing. It's such a great thing to be a part of when you can. So I agree with you. I think folks have been through some tough times. I think they got a little help, and I
Mm-hmm.
think now, according to that article as well, folks are saying, "Hey, bring it. We're ready. Let's
Mm-hmm.
let's make it happen." And that's such a great spirit, rather than, oh, you're always attacking the little guy. Oh, there's no way you can get the. Oh, how come the big guys get the help and we never get nothing? Oh,
Right, exactly.
so so that's great. So what is the opportunity for small business people? Well, I'm a big proponent of the first rule of employee sponsored retirement plans, which is you must operate for the benefit of your employees. That is the big deal. You have to operate for the benefit of your employees. It is your plan, you started it, but you have to operate for the benefit of the employees, which means there's some discrimination testing that they're going to do with regard to contributions and with regard to the amount of deferrals, that is the percentage that goes in there. That's going to happen. That we have to have, um, what do we call it? Equality, or not equality, but parity. We have to have parity
Mm-hmm.
within those camps,
Mm-hmm.
and there's people that get paid a lot of money to make sure that you follow the rules. So it is serious, right? And so, and
Right.
that can be daunting. That can be daunting. But I would say that um, if you do the right things the right way, and there are people that will help you do that, then it is more like good governance rather than a a task that you have to meet out, right?
Mm,
So that being said, what's the opportunity? I've said that a couple of times. The opportunity is actually to design that plan in ways that it will help you as the business owner. That's the golden opportunity there. Instead of just saying, oh, I've got a plan here, let's make sure that the plan is designed so that your business goals are part of the plan so that we can help you reach your business goals.
right.
That's a lot to say. I hear you. I see you there sort of chomping at the bit. So
No,
I'm
no, no,
trying
you're
to be,
absolutely right. Right.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But again, like I said, in the past, businesses, well, I always say they fall into business. They didn't exactly sit down and say, okay, that mean it was just majority, not all businesses, but a great deal of them just kind of fell in there, and because opportunity presented itself or lack of opportunity presented itself, so they were just. I was talking to or speaking with a client or consulting this morning, a new person, and so she just launched her business in July. And so she came right out and said, she goes, okay, I think I've done what I'm supposed to do, but I'm gonna be upfront. When I created my business plan, I didn't know a thing. So so I had no idea really what I was doing. So I
Yeah.
would probably, because when I asked her, does she have a business plan? She goes, yeah, I got one. but, but whether or not it's the right one, I don't know about that. So it's honesty, right? So, and that's really what happens. Yeah, some of them
Yeah.
get a plan. Some of the plan is up here, and then when
Mhm.
they hit that first little stumble with that first little obstacle, the plan goes out the window. Now we in
Yeah.
survival mode, and so
Hello.
whatever it takes to make a sale.
Well, kudos to her for having that air of honesty and that desire. And thank goodness she's working with someone like you that can actually guide her through so many of those processes, be it accounting to, well, now even retirement to fixing the plan to growth practices to so many things that she needs to consider, which are
hmm
actually going to make running her business fun and an opportunity and a challenge rather than, oh, God, one of those
hmm
things, that doesn't
Right.
work. And then we get sunk down into the doldrums. Attitude is so important there as well. So, but getting back to what I was saying, I think the opportunity is now that we have, and you had a great term for it. I think what you called it, the resignation, um, resignation nation, or something like that, where people are leaving their jobs left
Oh,
and right.
the big, yeah, what do they call it? The big recession, or no, not the
The
big
big
recession. The big resignation is what they're
The big
calling it.
resignation, yeah.
Yeah.
So, keeping your employees is very, very important. And when you're talking about a retirement plan, when you talk to people like me, and I'll get to it, but I just have to say this part. When you're talking
hmm
to people like me, we usually think about retirement plans as recruit, retain, and reward employees. That's you want to
Mm,
recruit, use them as a recruiting tool, use them as to retain them and to reward them. I'm a little bit different. I'll selfishly put in my little plug. Hopefully I don't do that too much, but I'll selfishly put in my little plug. And that is that I like to take the fourth R, retirement, and put
uh-huh.
that into
First.
retirement plans. Right. Let's put
Mm,
that in.
okay.
Just because, and everybody gets to participate in that. Sometimes the retirement plan is a very small part of your overall retirement plan. Sometimes it's all of your overall retirement plan, and your retirement advisor should work with everybody in that spectrum. So, how do we do this? Well, okay, how do we keep the first thing, which is incredibly important, which is the main thing, doing the main thing, make the main thing, and that is drive this retirement plan for the benefit of employees. How do we put that and balance that with we need a retirement plan for, okay, let's face it, those three things: recruit, retain, and reward. It's all in the design of the plan. And I'll give you a great idea, a great example. A gentleman came to me and he said, here's my deal, Jay. I have a bunch of employees. I have what I do is I put them in a group and I take the folks who did well on the tasks that I have for them to perform. I make them the leaders so that they can teach everyone else. And he says that works pretty good. The folks who did well, I taught them myself. They go out with a crew of people and they get things done. And in this business, I'm going to say that they were actually building or putting up cell towers. So
Okay.
they get things done. The problem that I'm having is that when I send folks out, either they get the job done in uh, some horrible amount of time, or they get the job, and when they do that, it's not done correct. So then we have to go
Mm.
back and do it again.
Mm.
Or they just don't get the job done, right?
Mhm.
So then I've got to send somebody else out to fix what they've fixed. So unfortunately, I'm losing money, because I I'm having to pay people to do things a couple of times. And
Mm.
I says, "Oh, um, what you need is a retirement plan." And he said, "Really? I thought I needed some folks who needed to train, or maybe I need some folks who
You trying to figure out
maybe I
how
just
did
need to
you
get."
make that jump?
Yeah, that's right, right? I can answer everything with a retirement plan. He says, maybe if I need something a little bit different, like get rid of all those people and get somebody in I can trust. I said, no, 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 no. I said, what you have is a problem with ownership.
Mm.
So what you really need to do is start your plan, and and I said to him, if I were you, I would start the plan without a match. I would just start the plan. If you want to put some offer, because it's not cheap to start a retirement plan. I mean, it's
Right.
not horribly expensive, but there is some money in there. And now
Okay.
you can get tax credits, which is something you know better than I. Tax credits versus tax um, deferrals. You can get tax
Mhm.
credits for
Mhm.
actually starting the plan. So you can get your plan pretty much paid for, at least with regard to that initiation in that first year. Anyway, that aside, I said you need to start a plan, and you need what we call a discretionary profit sharing plan. And that's probably a word that I'm going to use a lot. Discretionary means that you can put money in or not put money in, depending on your discretion. And the
Right.
amount that you can put in versus not put in, that's in large part, not totally, but in large part, open to your discretion as well. So it's a
Right.
very great tool for
Mhm.
business owners to structure the plan the way that they need to have it structured, structure the profit sharing part of the plan. I remember I said I wouldn't match. Now, don't send the cards and letters just yet. I do think a match is a wonderful thing to do. But in this instance, I was just saying to this particular person, if you want to match, great. But you can evaluate as to whether you need to do that or not. But the discretionary portion of your plan, the profit sharing plan, you need to do that. And so, just as a quick aside, there's two parts of a retirement plan for most people. One is the contribution phase of the employee, the
Mhm.
other is the contribution phase of the employer. And when we talk about a 401k plan or 403b plan, which most of us are involved in, then the employee puts money in, the employer can match that money or they can give that person money, right, to
Mhm.
go into
Mhm.
that section of the plan.
Mhm.
Or they can create or they can create what we call a profit sharing plan, which I'd like to call an employee contribution plan, but let's call it what it is, a profit sharing plan. And
Okay.
that's where it's all employer money. It's employer
Mm.
money. So you have one situation, you have employee and employer money in the mix.
Mhm.
And then you have a second situation where there's just employer money. That's where the power is. That's where the employer can really sink his teeth into something. She can really design the plan to meet her particular company's goal. So in this situation, I said, okay, start the retirement plan. Don't put the match in. with that retirement plan is going to come a discretionary profit sharing plan. So, what you want to do is say, here's the deal, everyone. We're going to start this retirement plan. Next year, if we can bring our accidents, tickets, those kinds of, you call them accident tickets. If we can bring those down to X level, I will put 4% of your pay
Mm.
into the retirement plan. 4% of the pay. The other cool thing about that discretionary plan is that the owner can determine what he wants um, the vesting period to look like. That is, he can determine how long those employees need to work there before they get that whole 4% that he's going to
Mm.
contribute on their behalf, right?
Mm.
So here's the scenario. The employer goes out on the floor and says, okay, next year, if we bring our tickets down to this level, and I'll tell you what they are every week, if we bring them down for as many weeks as we decide upon, then I'm going to put 4% of your pay into your profit sharing plan. Okay, so that creates a couple of things. One, the person says, oh, I'm going to get some extra money in my retirement plan if I toe the line and I make sure everybody on the team toes the line. So that's
Right.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, because he's created that ownership, there's more incentive to get that done. The third thing that I like to bring about is that all the money that he contributes to that retirement plan is going to be tax deferred. Right? That is,
Mm.
he's not going to have to pay taxes on those assets. So he gets to make a contribution. That's real money that he's going to put in there,
Mm-hmm.
and he can do it pre-tax. That's the word I want to say. It's
Yeah,
all
pretty.
pre-tax. He can make it
Mm.
pre-tax. So that's a pretty good deal. The employees get a raise, he gets to put money in pre-tax, and best of all, depending on who you are, his goal of eliminating quote unquote accident tickets is being met because folks are taking ownership. You see how that works?
And also, I think in addition to, eliminating, accidents and so forth, but also to increase, they're helping to increase the company's revenue base, right? Their profits,
Bingo.
because now, like you said, they're all invested, right? They
Yes.
feel that they're of value. And it's interesting because this morning when I was speaking to this new client, that's what her feel is, or her business is. She's coaching um, companies or supervisors with 0 to 3 years of experience. So helping them develop their skill sets so they can then help develop their employees to be more like associates than just employees, right? And so, because if you have just the employee attitude, you're only going to do enough. You're going to come in at 9 o'clock. You're going to punch out at 6 o'clock or whatever that time is. You're going to do just what you have to do to make sure you get your paycheck on the end. So you're only working for that paycheck. And if that paycheck is not very big, then your investment in the company is not that very big, right? It's just a means to an end to pay your bills. But once you increase that your employees' potential value to working for you. And I remember when I was working in corporate America, those were the companies that I worked for, the companies that had profit sharing. I'll work extremely hard if I know I'm working and there's a benefit on the other side of it for me, right? A bigger benefit. And the fact that now you got my 110% commitment to your company.
It's something that we really have to think about. So many of us have that, and I love the word you use, that employee attitude where I'm going to go in and do my time. And then all of a sudden, we shift from I'm going to go in to do my time to I've been going in to doing my time for the last 10 years or 15 years. I should get some benefit from that. And the
Mhm.
employer looks at that saying, I paid you to do what you did. You did nothing extra for me to pay you to do something extra. Why should I be giving you more money? And it's a dangerous argue. I don't want to get into it now, but it's kind of where unions come in and where
Mhm.
people's incentives come in, and it's a dance that we all have to do depending on
Mhm.
what side
Mhm.
of that spectrum we are. So the first getting back to the situation, the first situation is, okay, let's design that profit sharing plan so that we can give money, or we can pay people based on what we want to get done. The other part of
Mhm.
that, which you sort of hinted at, was since we can put that vesting schedule on there, the typical vesting schedule is 5. Sometimes we see them at 7 years, but it also ensures those long-term employees, those employees that are vested, they want to do the right thing, they're going to hold folks accountable, they're going to do more than they need to do to make sure that that bonus actually comes in the form of that profit sharing. Those are the
Mhm.
folks you want to hang on to. You put that 5-year vesting schedule on there, they're going to stay that 5 years. I don't know if you've had those conversations, but I remember someone saying to me, look, I need to stay an extra 2 years because I need to be fully vested. I want to
Right.
be
Exactly.
invested in those employee monies. So you have your long-term employees that stay, and you have people working to, in this case, reduce those tickets and those
Mhm.
situations mistakes. He thought that was a pretty good idea. Of course he did, because I'm telling the story. But he thought that was a pretty good idea.
But it makes sense, and especially in
Yeah,
this climate that we're in, right? The
especially in this
climate
climate
is
where you need to
I'm
hang on
the
to employees.
right. I am not feeling this whole there is no work-life balance. There's nothing in it. You're making all of the money, and that's a lot of the issue. You being that in this computer world that we're in. So we know normally back in the day, you didn't know what your employer made. You had no clue how much money they made. Now I did because I worked in payroll, right? But most people in the company had no clue. But
Yeah.
now your employer's salary gets plastered all over the news, especially when he goes and gets a big raise and he's smiling from ear to ear. He making
Mm.
3 million a year and you making $17 an hour. Wait, what? But I just thought I couldn't get a raise because the company didn't have no money. How you get 3 million, right? So these
Yeah.
people are understanding that. Um, but with their plan, now you're saying profit sharing, okay, you perform well, you do X, Y, and Z, whatever the criteria is, and you're 2 years you're going to be invested in the company. We're going to now start contributing to that, to you, to your retirement, to your life balance, to your children's education, right? So now, oh, okay, that sounds like a good deal. I'll perform. I will help the company be successful because on the other end, I'm also going to benefit from it. So I think
Yeah.
that's a great answer
Thank
to
you.
us.
I
A,
also like that answer when we look at employers, because I have to look at things from the employer's point of view. I
right.
also think when we look at folks that are going to be coming into your organization, they want to work for 2 years, and then they want to make a couple hundred grand a year, and then they want to leave to go on their trip to Europe. When you've got that type of clientele that you're looking at, if you make that vesting period 5 years and you do that profit sharing, at least you can say right then and there, oh, you only want to work for 2 years and it's taking me a year and a half to train you.
Yeah.
Okay, at least I only have to give you 50% of that profit, so those profit sharing dollars, right? Because
Mhm.
the vesting schedule is 5 years, you're only going to be here 2. So I don't have to
Mhm.
give you the whole profit sharing uh, monies, right?
Mhm.
And those
Mhm.
extra monies the employer can use to reduce their cost of the retirement plan. So that's a very interesting situation that employers have right there as well. There's so many people who are like coming and going with those jobs, coming and going. Oh, this isn't
Mhm.
what I thought it was going to be. And God bless them. You need to go where you need to go. I don't have any
Mhm.
problem with that. But
Mhm.
when you're talking about making some serious cash and you're going to leave in 2 years, that's tough for an employer to take. He's got to
Mhm.
be
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
change things, and she's got to hire more staff and what have you. So you can use that as well, that vesting schedule, to not pay out so much money. Now,
Mhm.
um, traditionally, I've never seen a vesting. Can I say that? Is that the right way to say that? Traditionally, I've never seen. How about if I
Yeah.
say? For myself, I rarely, if ever, have seen a vesting schedule over 5 years. I've seen them. They're usually kind
Mm,
of old, but I've seen them. But usually it's either a 3 year cliff, that is, you don't get anything, and all of a sudden, 3 years there, you're 100% vested. And I'm throwing that term out. When I say
right,
vesting, I mean ownership. That is,
right.
the money is there. How much of it do you
Do
own?
you
Right.
get
So
you get right
you
exactly.
get it. So in a 3 year period, you would own a 3 year clip. You would own 100% of those assets at the end of 3 years. There's a 3 year gradual where you have to work 1 year, and then the year starts. So 0 to 1, that's usually that can be 1 year. And then
Mhm.
1 to 2, that's 2 years. And then 2 to 3, that's 3 years. So now you've worked 3 years, you've gradually gotten 33% every of those, all of those 3 years. You're
Mhm.
finally vested at 3 years. And then we see it for 5 years. Every now and then, I mean, especially back in the day with old plans, I see a 7 year cliff or a
Ooh.
7 year vested schedule. I've seen longer. The Department of Labor doesn't have a particular guideline that it says is mandatory.
Mhm.
Rarely do I see it longer than 5. Every now and then I see it longer than 7.
Wow.
Every now and then. Yeah. In fact, I don't think I've actually ever seen it longer than 7, to be honest with you.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
that's a long time.
that's a long time in working for a company. So,
Yeah.
hopefully you have some benefits that would say, yeah, even though that period is 7 years, I still want to stay here. So that's one thing. So we're going to design that plan so that those employer monies can go based on a vesting schedule and on a particular metric to the employees. I love that plan. It works very well. The other plan is okay, um, my employees aren't contributing enough for me to hit that number that I want to hit to put money in. So,
Mm.
introduction of the safe harbor plan, right? The employee puts in 5%, the employer matches 4%. Altogether, that's 9%. As
Mhm.
most financial advisors suggest that most Americans save between 10 and 15%. So if just by working there, putting in your 5, your employer is going to put in 4, you're pretty
Mhm.
close to that 10. There's a way for you to get there.
Mm.
I think
Mhm.
those plans are great. The problem is they don't incent the employee. So even though I work with those plans a lot, and I definitely
Mhm.
encourage employers to take advantage of when it's appropriate, they don't. I mean, they don't incent the employee to really jump in there on behalf of the employer. Now, this next plan that I want to tell you about is a little. Um, let's just say it is wholly on the side of the employer. Okay. Situation, gentleman came to me and he said, "Hey, Jay, here's the deal. I run 8 factories. Most of the people in my factories, because I don't pay them very much, they probably aren't going to contribute to the plan. But I need to make sure that my 5 guys here that I use as general managers who are actually running the business, I need to make sure they are contributing to the plan. So if you have a small business and let's say you've got 5 warehouses, you've got some
Mhm.
warehouse workers, you've got 5 managers up here that are actually doing most of the business. Okay, how do you make sure that those folks are taken care of? Maybe these folks down here have such good turnover that you don't really worry about them that much. How do you
Mm.
make sure that your general managers are taken care of?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, introduction of the non-qualified plan, where we can, and let me use this word very liberally, we can discriminate against the non-highly compensated employees, the lowly employee. We can discriminate
Mhm.
against them, and we can give that benefit to that top brass, right? Those folks
Mm.
that we need to take care of, those folks that are been with me for a long time that are actually running the business. Now, what's the benefit of that to the employer? Well, if you happen to be the employer, then you can base your contribution to that non-qualified plan based on production, based on advertising effectiveness, based on employee morale, based on all kinds of things. You
Mhm.
can discriminate, and it doesn't have to be the same for each one, and you can use it as a tool. In some instances, if you've got someone who cannot get insurance, of course, now Mr. Obama's um, law about past insurance issues not keeping you out of the not keeping you out of the insurance thing. That's a little different. But anyway, we used to be able to say, hey, you can't get insurance. You can now with this non-qualified plan. We could
Mm.
move those numbers around. But a
Right.
non-qualified plan is a great way to do that. It allows you to not have to pay everybody else, all the employees, but hook up those 5 general managers. So if you have a small business and you've got 4 people that are working for you, and I just had this situation just earlier, well, late last month, where a woman has,
Mhm.
um, uh, she has 6 people, I believe, that
Okay.
are her main folks, and then she's got folks who are installers. And what she did was she started a match for those folks that are installers. So if they put the 5 in, then she'll match the 4. So she started that for them. So they're getting the match, but she needed to do something with the folks that were actually running the business for her. So she
Mm.
started a non-qualified plan for them. So you can give them a little bit of extra money, base it on specific incentives that they can control, which helps her with their bottom line in a very interesting way. So they are vested now in helping her reach her bottom line goals by the way they treat their employees. And she's breaking in more business, more money because her employees are happy. She's giving a match over here. She's hooking these folks up. Their incentive, their pay is based on how well they treat these employees.
Mhm.
And there you go. So she's designed that big portion of her plan to make her business grow. And she's doing that and not discriminating against anyone. So pretty
Mm.
cool. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? I
Yeah,
thought
that
that'd be a
does
lot
make
of fun.
sense. And in honesty, I know when I worked, as I said, in corporate America, it was like a better deal, right? Because it wasn't when you went to apply for a job and look for work, it was, of course, they were looking at you being there longer than 5 years, right? 5, 10 years. I mean, at that time, you being with one company for 20 years was not frowned upon. It was actually encouraged, right? Because if you were jumping all over the place, then that made potential employers uncomfortable. Today, we live in a different world, but we seem to be giving far less to be able to create that commitment to the company. Because even I think from a company standpoint, you want to be able, I would think you would want to be able to offer benefits to your employees they will want to stay there. They will want to feel proud about the company that they're working for. But somehow or
I
another, we
think
done
you're right.
slipped into some new place, right?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I, when you get right down to it, it is the nature of the beast. I mean, there is we can talk in generalities, but those individual companies are the ones that understand their issue. So
Yeah.
they've got to figure out what kind of company are we going to be. They can determine that. And if we're going to
Mhm.
be the company where we want long-term employees, then we need to treat them like long-term employees. If we're going to be the kind of company where, we've got this revolving door and we're not worried about fixing that, then well, you can design your retirement plan to encourage that as well. It's not tough. But
Mhm.
talking with your retirement plan advisor, your third party administrator, the people that actually hold the money, your record keeper, talking with all of those folks, they can
Mhm.
get you the right kind of plan. And I think that's important. You want to have
Right.
a retirement plan? What's the right kind? It's kind of like
Right.
buying a car. You want to buy a car? What's the right kind? Do you need a pickup? Do you need a what do you call those things? The van? The family van?
Oh, the caravan?
The
The
caravan. Do you
minivan?
need a minivan? There you go. Do you need a
Yeah.
minivan? or do you really just need that four-door small
Right.
sedan? What
Yeah.
is it that you need? And, without talking with you, I can't tell you which one is right or wrong, and they're all appropriate for someone. You just have to figure out which one of you that is.
That it is, yeah. I would think this is a good opportunity. We always look for opportunities on how we can accrue um, more clients, and I think especially the ones that are perplexed on how to get more employees. I think that's it for you guys. That's a good opportunity right now. While everybody's searching for and trying to figure out what the new magic formula is, I think right here, retirement plans is a good, especially if you are recruiting for employees, mid 30s and up, family or employees that have young families. I think that's a good incentive to put those benefits out on the front side now, as opposed to just the salary, because that is inclusive in the salary. But if all I'm going to get is just my little hourly wage and there's no help, healthcare is, null and void nowadays because it's so expensive, then you got to give them something. You got to give them some sort of incentive as an employer to want to work for your company.
Yeah, we used to call that total compensation, right? What's your whole package look like? And I think you're absolutely correct. I think you're a little bit younger than me, but I think you're old enough to remember those days where, if you had someone in their 30s or late 20s or maybe their 40s, it wasn't just the paycheck. If you want me to come to your company, then you've got to make sure that those retirement benefits there, those health benefits are there. I get to park in the parking garage or whatever it is. Those benefits become incredibly important because let's just face it, I need to take care of some people, right? I need to
Right.
make sure some things are well. And then if not, then then perhaps I've got a I have a tool a negotiating tool in the salary. How does that look? If you don't really care about keeping those long-term employees, if you really don't, then base your retirement plan around folks that are going to come leave in a couple of years.
Hmm.
Okay,
Right.
and then
Exactly.
I think you have to be. I have a friend who's an attorney who says diversity is oh my gosh, this memory of mine is really happening. Is deliberate. You have to be
Yeah.
deliberate about it.
Yes, you do.
I run into all kinds of companies who have retirement plans, but they weren't deliberate about the creation of that plan, and they didn't have someone talk to them about how to structure the plan. So they have a plan, but it's not doing them that much good. Their employees are not contributing, and so since their employees aren't contributing, they're not getting any incentive, right?
Mm.
It's not working for them. So they have a
Mhm.
real serious problem with plan design, and that's something that we have to work on, right? And
Mm.
it takes
Okay.
takes a little bit. I can help you with the design of the plan. I can't help you with the analysis of your clientele. You have to help. We have to do that together, and
Right.
then I can't help you with putting the money in. You gotta put the money in,
In.
right?
Right. Exactly.
Gotta do that. So there's some responsibility that has to be had, but you definitely have to talk to someone about how do I make this plan work for me instead of now this is more money that I'm putting out and I don't even get to make the contribution that I want to make because nobody's contributing.
Right.
So
Exactly. But I
what
think
do I
again, it's they if you were paying them enough money, right, then it wouldn't be a hardship for that employee to do that if they saw that benefit, right? But if you're not
if you're paying them
focusing,
enough money?
yeah, if they're only making enough money to barely survive, then of course, yeah, of course they don't have enough money to save, right? If they're just paying for their paycheck only really provides for their rent and some food, right? And that's it. they're living paycheck to paycheck, right?
Well, we've
So
all had those deals though, right? Not to interrupt you, but we've
yeah.
all had those situations where maybe that's not your clientele when it comes to working. Maybe your clientele isn't that person that's right out of school, that's got bills to pay and beer to drink. Maybe that's not your clientele. Maybe your clientele is that person that's returning to work
Mm-hmm.
after a career
Ah,
doing whatever else, right?
okay.
I worked in a call center back in the day, and some of my best employees were folks who were on their second, or what'd
Oh
you call
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Second or third
their third act.
act. Yes.
Yes,
Their,
exactly.
their second or third act. And they worked part time, and they were creative, they were imaginative, they were client focused, they were, going above and beyond. And unlike their younger counterparts, they showed up on time.
Yeah, well, because they had work ethics. That's a
They,
different ball.
yeah,
That work
they
ethics.
showed up on time, and and they didn't seem to have a bunch of issues. They
Yeah,
just kind of showed up.
yeah,
Oh, they weren't trapped behind school buses. They weren't, taking their dogs in. I mean, they didn't seem to have issues. Now, I'm trying to be a liberal person here and understand that, we all have life things that we're going through.
right.
But as an employer, hmm, you can get that young vitality that brings energy in, or you can get people to show up on time.
Yeah, your goal is to get those people that's going to show up on time, respect the place of employment, things like that, right? Yeah, when you're because unfortunately, I don't know, I we were taught how to be employees and what that required, right? But in
Hmm.
today's world, you can get a new job every 2 years. You can leave every year if you want to. There's no consequences to it. And so I think
Yeah,
that's the difference
I
between
think you're right.
us and
Yeah.
what you always want
But
somebody who will show up on time.
yeah, but I think now that I've had a little bit of time out here in the workforce, I see where those folks that don't work the way that I used to work,
Mhm.
we get benefits from their issues. Because if you think about it, those folks that said, "Hey, I don't want to come into work 5 days a week." Well, this is the office, right? This
Mhm.
is why we come here, is to do the work. Well, I don't really want to do that. Well, okay, so now that we have COVID, we have people that are staying home, and
Mhm.
so many of us can stay home and run a business or do whatever, and we have this option to telecommute, whereas before that was so frowned upon.
Oh
And then
yeah.
and now that we have this option to telecommute, now when folks are hiring, now they get to say, okay, how close to an airport do you need to be in order to do this job? Do you need to be within 10 miles of the airport? Do you need to be within a minute of the airport? Or do you need to
Mhm.
be within 3 days of the airport because we only
Mhm.
want to see you, you know, 4 times a year,
Right.
as long as you're getting the projects done. That
Mhm.
flexibility came from folks that didn't want to go to work every day. They wanted to
Mhm.
stay with their kids or what
Mhm.
have you.
Well, looking
So
for
I think
work life balancing.
yes.
Mhm.
So, I think that's one thing that COVID has done for us is it's given us the opportunity to evaluate what work-life balance is. But we could probably talk a little bit more about that over a beer. But for
Right.
this, but for this,
Right.
I think if we talk about the don't be that guy, my favorite section of the show, I would
Mhm.
say don't just think, oh, I can't afford a retirement plan. There's a very
Right.
good chance you can. That's one. Don't
Mhm.
be that guy that doesn't think I can't afford a retirement plan. And then don't be the guy that says I need to get a plan and don't even and just sit on a plan.
Right.
That does you no good. Let's get
Right.
a plan that's going to help your business grow. And you should
Exactly.
talk with your advisor about making that happen. Right? Now, down here in the state of California, we have some incentives where, you have to get a plan. We have to provide for folks' retirement. And it's not a bad way to go with something, but it's not designed to help your business. So on the one hand, I'm like, I understand what you're trying to do there, state of California, but the people I want to work with are the folks that want to say, look, I need to help grow my business. I need to
Mhm.
get I need to get long-term employees. I need to get satisfied customers. That retirement plan that the state has is not getting you any of that. So
Mhm.
think about that when you're thinking about what kind of plan you want to have to offer your employees.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that it is a benefit, that one of the things you want to do is make it give an incentive for you to bring in quality employees, not just people,
Mhm.
not just bodies, but quality. So look at it in a way that, yeah, you can afford it. You can't, what is it? Is what is it? Not you cannot not afford it, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah, you can't not afford it.
not afford it, right? Because
Yeah.
it actually could be the vehicle you need to really bring in that quality employee that's going to really work hard in your company, and see that there's some advantages for them as well.
Yeah, it's amazing what quality employees can do. I have uh, the privilege of being an army of one, but I have lots of clients with multiple employees,
Mhm.
and I see the ones that treat their employees fairly well.
Mhm.
I see that, and I see the ones that are trying to treat their employees well. They're
Mhm.
struggling to make sure it happens, but I see that as well. And you can tell those employees that are treated well, they do a lot of stuff for their employers.
Mhm.
A lot of
Mm,
stuff.
mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have some clients that, I marvel. It's like, "Wow, your employee's been with you 10, 15 years, and you're, like, in a food business, a food industry business." That says a lot about you, that your
Mhm.
employees are there past a certain period of time.
Oh, most
So,
definitely.
yeah, now I like, "Okay," and then when you have a conversation or you go into their establishments, the employees are smiling and happy to be there. That says a lot about your business and
It
how you
really
do
does.
business, right? As
Yes, it
opposed to
does.
being disgruntled and poor service and things like that. And a lot of times that is coming because the company itself is not a haven for those people that you're employing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very much so.
really,
And
really
sometimes it comes
important.
from just grumpy employees. Some
Yeah,
people just
well,
aren't gonna be happy.
some people are not, but you can even weed those out. I have friends that are in HR, and I have one girlfriend. She's always been in the hospitality industry. So, as the HR director, they always provided um, employee appreciation days. So, every month or every quarter, they will go out of their way to make the employer feel appreciative
Mm.
and appreciate it. And then consequently, then they would have employees that would be there 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, retiring from their place of employment.
Yeah, I hear you. I've had the opportunity to work in some organizations and this is gonna sound weird, but back in the day, I heard I heard employees saying, "You're paying me enough money. I've got things going, so I'm getting paid enough." Or maybe they
Hmm.
meant that in this situation. I don't want to talk about pay. I'm not being heard. I want to be heard, right? I
Right.
want I want to be able to come up with ideas that are going to make this company better, and that's really going to be great. And
Hmm.
then you can pay me more money, I suppose.
Hmm. Right.
But
Exactly.
that's a but that's a big deal. Is listening to those folks, So, and it's a balance. I get it, as an employer of vendors myself. I'm not paying you to hang out here and talk to me. I'm paying you to do what I need you to get done. And
Right.
if you're not going to get it done, I'll find somebody who will. So I
Right.
see both sides of that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. There's a two-sided coin.
Yeah. But I would say if we're going to talk about don't be that guy, we got to say number one, don't just stick a retirement plan in and not talk to someone about how it can help you grow your business. And
Right.
then number two, Um, don't be that person that just doesn't know what's up. We can talk about this plan. We can make it work for you, and we can do that with any business. It's not just reserved for folks that are in wealthy business places. That might be the same thing. Is that the same
I think
thing? That could be the
same
same
thing.
thing.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing, especially in today, because you can make lots of money as a business owner now. You just have to so many more opportunities, right? You don't have to just sell widgets. There's many components that that you can create some other revenue streams
Are
that
you getting into
benefit
the
you.
chip business, Crystal? Are you doing that? Get some chips or take a little of that Chinese money over there? We gotta get ourselves an American chip maker. Would that be
Right,
cool?
right, exactly.
I mean, you're
So
right. We're paying $100 for the phone anyway. We ought to
anyway,
be able to
right.
pay some American.
Exactly,
Was that out
exactly.
loud? Oops.
Oops.
No way.
You're funny.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Let me read your bio
Okay, great
and you can
show.
close us
This is
out.
a good conversation. Yes.
Okay, here we go. Well, everyone, you have been patient and listening to Conversations on the Patio with Crystal and Jevon. I'm going to read Crystal's bio and she's going to take us out. I am Jevon Thomas, retirement plan advisor, uh, a licensed retirement plan advisor. And this is Crystal Mitchell, business coach and consultant. She's the CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions, a co director of Recycling Black Dollars. She's also the co host of The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, that other radio show. She's an instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College, a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor, and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Thank you, Crystal, as always, for joining me on the show. It would not be the same without you. It is an incredible pleasure. And take us away.
All righty, we had a great show today. So, guys, when we're in a very delicate world we live in today, and really offering benefits for our employees to entice that quality person to work for you. So maybe looking and really considering a retirement plan. So I think that will add a sense of enhancement to what you're providing for the people that are working for you, because they have to feel wanted. They have to feel like they're appreciated. Um, so I say, as Gilbert, I mean, as Javon says, you don't want to be that guy that just, you don't even want to discuss whether or not you can afford a retirement plan. I think you have to discuss it, and I think it's a big mistake not even considering it. So, you guys, don't be that guy. Be the guy that really care about your employees and care about your business, because that's really what it comes down to, right? So it's been great. We will see you guys next week. Happy Valentine's Day. And we're out.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Crystal. Happy Valentine's Day.
Okay.